What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what really moved it, and the latest in updates that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 3.54%, 1274 the low, 1332 the high, and you did see a little bit of a bump up in the volume, so that's kind of a good thing. Over the last couple of trading days, it's been rather low, but 71.8 million shares being traded today, 63.8 is the average. So as far as the market open, there was a lot of optimism. Things were looking pretty good. And then you did have this. So the 20-year bond did come out, and it really just crapped on the market. And I'm sure everyone knows at this stage in the game that there just wasn't that much demand. And ultimately, they did have to increase the discount rate. So it settled at 5.1%. So not good whatsoever. Of course, whenever you raise the discount rate, it does lower the present value for future earnings, thus the multiple. And this is why you did see ultimately a lot of stocks go down, and even more so heavily growth kind of component stocks. So at the end of the day, wasn't great whatsoever. And I feel like on social media, you kind of have now two camps. One side saying that this was a unjustified pullback. Flip side, you also have some individuals saying that this is the start of a very negative scenario. And I think a lot of that is stemming from the recent downgrade. Also, a lot of, for instance, JP Morgan and a couple of other CEOs said that we will be entering into a stagflationary environment, which of course yields would go up. So it's not necessarily the best if that does occur for especially stocks. So yeah, it's kind of a sticky scenario. I think it's premature to start freaking out over this one data point. Need a little bit more. We do have a lot of big data coming out tomorrow that could really reconfirm that fear, or might just calm the broader market. So they'll be coming out pretty much first thing in the morning. But specific to SoFi, no news, no SEC filings, no fireside chats. So it was just merely piggybacking off the broader market. Shorts didn't really do all that much today. They did increase 31,000 shares. 13.62% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 147 million shares overall are being shorted. In my opinion, how I see this all playing out, I do feel that shorts are being kind of timid on purpose. They are waiting just for the broader market institutions to really bring SoFi down on a technical standpoint. And then once SoFi kind of hits a very key support level, this is where shorts will double down and really break, or at least attempt to break SoFi. So I feel like that's what SoFi's plan is. So I'm going to go over the technicals near the end of the video, but that's just how I see things, because in a lot of other heavily shorted stocks, shorts were very active today, just not necessarily with SoFi for whatever reason. I feel like something's up with them, in my opinion. I could be wrong though. What do I know? As far as options, 17 million in calls, 6.42 in puts. 47% of all the options being done were optimistic in nature, but most of those were actually done prior to that 20-year bond coming out. So it did cause a little bit more of a kind of boost in negative options. Even right here, we did have 1.4 million in premiums that was done between 250 and 255. And ultimately, if we kind of look at this, orient it based on premiums, a lot of smaller transactions ranging from like 17 to 76,000 per, and it's different strike prices. So feel free to pause it and go through it and line by line and whatever else. Same goes for this. I recommend a lot of you to pop over to my Patreon. Post this every single day on a lot of the kind of hot trades, single leg trades in the actual market. And this is why I even posted yesterday saying that if you kind of read all the data, big money is bearish for whatever reason. We didn't know it at the time, but maybe they did anticipate this pullback today. So something to somewhat keep in mind. Based on the bulls, you are seeing a consensus for it to be above 1350 to 14. So a little bit of optimism still there. Based on the bears, there is a consensus for it to be sub 1250. So in my opinion, based on this, it does show that maybe today's pullback wasn't really justified and that there will be a nice rebound. During the overnight trading, it is slightly moving up. So it is sitting at roughly 1284. So a small little bit of a move higher, nothing significant, unfortunately. But based on this, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So everything was pretty much going fine up until here. Then you did have a couple strings of selling, buying a little bit after hours, a lot of big transactions, as you can kind of see, 1.08, 6.4, 22.9 million. So a lot of institutions were really active. Even this one was done about an hour after the market did close. So 6.2 million, 1.2, and that seems to be the only large one that was over 1 million, I do believe, on the Darkpool. So Darkpool was very, very active, and a lot of that was large entities out there in the broader market. So big money definitely was trading it, and this is why I always like to look at where volume does come from, whether it be algorithmic trading or truly institutions buying and selling it. So good to see that institutions are active. It's better than at least algorithmic trading in my opinion. But with it closing at 1280, it is trading between the S2 and this S3. So 1256 is going to be that next strong support, and then flip side 1312 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And this is one thing I did mention yesterday, that if that was to break, then anticipate kind of the low 12s, and it's somewhat playing out. So I think tomorrow will be all based on the data points, if for instance at 1256 is to hold or not or whatever. But one thing I do want to bring up is the Elliott wave technical. So it does have a pivot point of 1230, so another kind of key level to really watch for. If it is able to kind of stay above that, then it is anticipated still to be going between that 1553 and 1636. If it does break below that, then anticipate kind of the mid to high 10s, unfortunately. But no news, no articles really coming out associated to SoFi, no new analyst ratings, as you can kind of see right here. So it was just, like I said, piggybacking off of the broader market. But today it did unfortunately stay below the ALMA, showing more consolidation is coming. Very strong support levels right here at 1218 and 1225. So that is that 50 and also 200-day moving average. If for whatever reason it does break below that, then I think we already kind of know what happens at this stage. Historically, every time SoFi does break below that 50-day moving average, usually results in like a 30% swing, as what we've seen many times in the past. That 50-day moving average is a very big deal. So if it does break below this, so again, just really watch for that in the next couple of trading days, then that Elliott wave technicals could come to fruition, and you might see kind of the mid to high 10s. So I think that would be a huge buying opportunity in my opinion. Of course, if it does hit that, then there'd be a hell of a lot of blood in the market. People would be freaking out. You just have to trust your gut, and like I've stated in the past, very much near impossible to catch the bottom. You just have to dollar cost average. So find stocks that you do really like, such as SoFi or whatever else floats your boat, and just dollar cost average. So let me know your viewpoint on SoFi. Are you buying? Did you buy? Did you sell? I have, as far as I believe, my options for this week is the 1250. So if it does close below 1250, then I'll be buying, I think it's 500 shares of SoFi. The following week, I do have $12 puts. I sold $12 puts both this and next week. So yeah, we'll wait and see if I do get more shares. Potentially I could get another 1500. Yeah, it's just a fun ride, fun adventure. But like I mentioned, based on how I feel shorts, what their plan is, SoFi might actually settle somewhere around here, and in theory, in a normal circumstance, it would bounce off of that and trend higher. But this is where shorts might really try to double down and break it below that point. So you might see a significant battle, if that kind of makes sense. So all in all, fun times ahead. That's kind of the moral of the story for this video. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Even a lot of my day trades, despite the volatility today, were exactly on point, calling 30% runs on many of them. So definitely worth a lot to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.